Point 2 of Module 5, Basics of PHP. From this video, I plan to use 3 videos to give you the basics of PHP. Before we can start to work on, work on some examples, so we need to have some basic knowledge. All right, so let's start. The first video, basic rules in PHP. So I want to go through a list of rules. The first one, all right. PHP script can be placed anywhere in the document, in HTML document. HTML document. Embedded, right? We embed PHP code anywhere in HTML document to add dynamic content. So that's the reason we use this server-side scripting language, because we want to add a lot of dynamic content. So it's different from JavaScript. JavaScript, we can also add dynamic content, but that is from the client side. Client side, there is a lot of limitation. And from the server side, we can do much more. The reason is we can access database from the server side. The client side, you're not allowed to access database. So it is limited. All right, so anyway, so this is the first one. Very general rule or fact. Next one. PHP script starts with the tag, special tag. Ends with question mark greater than sign. So that special tag. You just need to get familiar with this kind of special tags where you want to embed your PHP dynamic content processing code. All right. Next. Extension, default file extension. .php. So here, although you see this word default, that means there is word non-default, right? Default, non-default. So if you use the default file extension, you do not need to do anything, right? But usually we do not talk about the non-default extension. Usually we do not want to touch that or change that. Because if you really want to change, you need to change the configuration in the, Apache server. In Apache, there is a configuration file. Okay. If you want to change the non-default setting, you need to do change in a configuration file. So usually we do not want to do that. Okay. Here, you just need to know this. All right. Next one. A PHP file normally contains HTML tags and some PHP scripting code. That's simple. We know that. Next one. PHP statements end with a semicolon. So that's typically what we use for most of the high-level programming languages. C++, Java, PHP, JavaScript. JavaScript optional, right? But it is highly recommended to use semicolons to mark the end of the statement. Some programmers, just a small number of programmers, when they write JavaScript code, they don't want to use semicolons. But if you do not use, you need to be familiar with a set of rules. A set of JavaScript rules the browser uses to, try to separate different statements. So for most people, we do not want to, memorize that list of rules, right? Yeah, so it's better we use semicolons. Yeah. But there is another special case, exception, Python. Yeah, Python. Yeah. So later I will record a few videos for introduction to Pythons. In Python, you do not use semicolon. Okay? You do not use semicolon to mark the end of the statement. Yeah. So that's very special. Yeah. All right. So let's continue. Yeah. In PHP, keywords. Yeah. So here the simple keywords: if, else, while, echo. Yeah. These keywords. Classes, functions, and user-defined functions are not case sensitive. Okay? But as a convention, we usually use lowercase. Yeah. So we do not feel comfortable to use uppercase keywords. Yeah. But you just know it. Not case sensitive. Yeah. All right. Next one. All variable names are case sensitive. Yeah. So you need to separate this case from other cases. Variable names. Yeah. So we will talk about variable names, all the rules for the variable names later. They are case sensitive. Yeah. That's natural. Yeah. Usually, when we use variable names, we like to, use different styles. Yeah. Some places we like to use capital letters. Yeah. All right. Next one, comments in PHP. Yeah. There are three different types of comments. The first two types for single line comments. Yeah. We are familiar with that. The first one, C++ style comment, // Yeah. The second one, the sharp or hash sign. Yeah. So that's special sign. Yeah. So that one, yeah, also you can use to write your comments, but it's a single line comment. Yeah. The third one, syntax for multi-line comments. Also, we use in C++ or C, even C, right? C or C++. Yeah. So we are familiar with this kind of multi-line comments. Yeah. All right. So next, in PHP, a variable starts with the $sign. Yeah, so that's another very special, expression, followed by the name of the variable, $variable name. Yeah. All right, look at this example, $txt. Variable, yeah, so when we see it, we know it is a variable. Yeah. All right, so after you get used to it, it's very easy. Yeah. So you use it, in a natural way. Yeah. A variable name must start after the $sign. Then the remaining characters must start with a letter or the underscore character. Underscore. Yeah. So that's a special case. $_ something. Although usually, so when we create variable names, we do not use that underscore. Underscore usually used to represent some very special type of variables. Yeah. Try to separate from the normal variables. Yeah. So that's the reason we use that underscore. Yeah. So later we will see some very special variables, we use that. Yeah. All right. The first rule. Second rule, a variable name cannot start with a number. Number, digit, yeah, you cannot. Yeah. Similar to, so here you can see these rules similar to those in Java. So Java, we pretty much use the same rules. Yeah. But the Java, the dollar sign is different. The dollar sign is different. Yeah. All right. Next, a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. Yeah. Only character that is not alphanumeric, there's the underscore, because we have some special reason to use that. Yeah. The first one, the beginning one, so we want to, make it look special. But in the middle, so we want to, try to make the look, readability better. Yeah. So usually the underscore in the middle, we want to make the readability of the names better. Yeah. All right. Variable names. Yeah. So we know it. Case sensitive. Yeah. All right. Then next one, echo statement. Yeah. Frequently used in PHP code, echo statement, often used to output data to the screen. Yeah. When we need to generate content, yeah. HTML content. So typically here, although we do not say it, so what is the output data? Although we do not say what kind of output data, but by default, we are expected to generate HTML content. Yeah. Why this hidden meaning is important? Because in that way, you can write HTML tags. Yeah. So you use all the syntax meaningful in HTML documents. Yeah. All right, so let's look at an example. Yeah. So we create a variable, then we want to display this variable. Okay, echo, then literal string. Yeah. So you have the literal part or static part. Yeah. So let's call the static part, fixed part, static, and a dynamic part. Dynamic, the value can be changed. Okay? Yeah. In different places in your program, the values could be different. So dynamic, static. Here you can see, all right, you can put a PHP variable anywhere inside a string content. Okay? Yeah. Nothing to separate them, just like a substring inside. Yeah, the PHP engine will do the translation, so you don't worry about it. The PHP engine will translate this part to appropriate value. Yeah, so you can do it this way. Yeah, all right. Another. So this is one way to use the echo statement to generate output data. Another way, also very useful. Yeah, we do the similar thing in different way, but also a very useful way. Look at this way. All right, same thing. We want to do the same thing, but this time, look, this dot operator in PHP. It has its very special meaning for string. When you use dot operators in string manipulation, okay, yeah, the meaning is concatenation. Okay, concatenation. Yeah. All right. So you basically, you connect several pieces together. In Java, we use plus sign, right? In Java, we use plus sign to do the string concatenation. So in PHP, dot operator. Try to get used to it. Because in PHP, the plus sign, we don't want to use plus sign to do concatenation. That will cause confusion. We just reserve this arithmetic operation. Okay? So separate. In Java, that's different. Okay? So Java, we can use for arithmetic operation also concatenation, because Java, there is a different thing. Type declaration, declare data types, variable types. In PHP, we do not declare variable types. So for that reason, the way to use different operators, different. So we will see that part. Here, you just know there is some good reason behind it. Good reason. All right. Here you see this is example. We use plus sign, but arithmetic operation, not concatenation. All right. The next one. PHP is a loosely typed language. Look at this, loosely typed language. Now we get to the type declaration. We do not declare types. So if you recall, when we create PHP variable, we never declare it as a string, as a number. We do not do it. So the PHP engine will detect, the context, and it can tell which type it should be. String type, variable, numerical type. So it will apply some internal rules to do the translations. So this is convenient for us, but so you will see type declaration. If you skip that, so you may have some related problems in some special situations. Here we do not get that part. But I just want to connect to another programming language, JavaScript. In JavaScript, we do not do type declaration, right? JavaScript, when we use a string, number, we do not need to tell browser is this a string or is this a number? We do not need to tell explicitly. All right, so that's this rule. PHP automatically associates a data type to the variable depending on its value. But for string and a number, there is a simple way to separate. String we always include in double quotes, or single quotes is also okay. String literals. Then for numbers, you do not include in double quotes. $x equals 5. All right? You do not include in double quotes. So then the PHP can tell, oh, this is a number variable, not a string variable. But although you include a number inside double quotes, now it's a string. Although digit inside that string, but it is string format initially. Right? Initially. Later, if you want to use it as a number, use it. It happens. Use it as a number later. You need to do conversion. String to integer number conversion. You need to do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we will get there later when we discuss some examples. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next, the new thing, new version, new way. Yeah. In PHP 7. Right now we use PHP 5. Okay. So the current version we're using. So remember we download that old version XAMPP. So not the newest. PHP version 5. Yeah. So that's probably the most popular PHP version. Yeah. But in PHP 7, type declarations were added. Yeah. The reason, yeah, we can guess the reason. Yeah. Reason try to, address for some special cases that people need clear type information. So when you do some relatively complicated tasks. Yeah. But if you do that, then so it will add some extra learning curve. Learning curve will be steeper, yeah, for beginners, yeah, especially for beginners, yeah. All right, so for this class, we do not go that direction, yeah. So we just learn the basic PHP programming. Yeah. PHP variable scope concept. Yeah. Scope concept, yeah. So we're familiar with the scope concept in high-level programming languages, yeah. Different scopes. Yeah. We want to look at in PHP, what is the scope rules, related rules. Yeah. The first one, the scope of a variable is the part of the script where the variable can be, yeah, that's definition, variable can be referenced. Yeah. If you get out of the scope, you cannot use it. Excuse me. You cannot use that variable anymore because out of the scope. Yeah. So that's the reason we need to understand this concept well. So then we know what is the right way to use different variables. Yeah. So let's look at how many different types of scope we have. Yeah. 3 different variable scopes. First one, local. Local scope. Yeah, we're familiar with that, local. So when we define a function, inside a function, we use many local variables. Yeah. Then global variables. Yeah. We declare those variables outside functions, outside any functions, global. Okay? Yeah. The rules, we will look at rules later. Yeah. Another one, static. Static, yeah. Static variables. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Similar to the static instance variables in Java, right? In instance Java, in Java we use static instance variables, right? But for this class, I do not want to talk about static variables. Okay? The reason is simple. It is rarely used. Usually people do not use it. Okay? Especially for beginners, we do not need to use that. Yeah. But when you have a lot of experience and you encounter some very special situation, if you really need to use this type of variables, then you can study, understand by yourself and use it. Yeah. But in general, 99% of the cases, you don't need it. Yeah. All right. A variable declared outside a function, not the rule. Okay, not the rule. Yeah. So this rule is very special regarding the global variable. Local variable, we don't need to say anything, right? We're familiar with that, so we don't need to say anything. It's normal, yeah. But the global variable in PHP, quite different. The rule is quite different. Different, what I mean, different from the way we use it in C, C++, we can declare global variables, right? Yeah, yeah. So later I will do some comparison. Yeah. In Java, we can also declare, global variables, right? Yeah, relatively, yeah, instance variables. So that kind of global, yeah, a little bit, yeah, because different functions you can access those instance variables, kind of global, yeah, kind of global. Yeah. All right. Here in PHP, the rules, the particular rule for the global variable. A variable declared outside a function as a global scope and can only be accessed outside a function, but not inside a function. Outside. Inside function, you cannot. So this rule is special, a little special. The reason is simple. The reason is avoid some notorious errors. Yeah, because some errors very annoying, very hard to find. When people use global variables, some of the errors, it is very hard to do debugging, So that's why you always hear experienced programmers telling you, try to avoid using global variables. Yeah. All right, so let's look at a simple example. In this example, this is global variable. $x equals 5. The reason is it is declared or defined, whatever, yeah, outside any function. Outside function. Outside. Yeah. Now, in this function, if you want to access this global variable directly, you get an error. Generate an error. It does not, PHP engine, it does not allow you to do it. The reason simple, avoid that kind of very bad error. The error, very hard to fix for programmers, very hard to fix. The reason is, think about if you write big project, you have many functions, hundreds of even thousands of lines of code, then you use many global variables. How do you keep track of the values of your global variables? You cannot. How do you memorize? Before 2,000 lines ago, you use that global variable for some special situation, special purpose. You set some special value. Now, after 2,000 or 3,000 of lines, you couldn't keep track of it. You couldn't keep track of it. That's the nightmare. So for that reason, here you can see generate error. PHP engine tries to discourage you to use global variables. Discourage you to use global variables. All right? Yeah. But you can argue, if it discourages people use global variables, why it just eliminate global variables, right? In PHP language, global variables are not allowed. How about that? Set that rule, strict rule. No, it's not that case. Because in a very, very rare case, 0.001% situation case, you really need a global variable. So you're still allowed to use global variable. Okay? All right. Later you will see PHP provides a way to allow you to use global variable inside a function. You just need to do some declaration. Then you can use it. Yeah. Not completely eliminate it, just make it harder to use it in PHP. Make it harder to use in PHP. Yeah. So it's different from in C, C++. In C, C++, you can use global variables anywhere you like. No restriction. So that's why if you really use a lot of global variables, other people who maintain your code, so they will not be very happy. Yeah. They will not be very happy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's move on. A variable declared within a function as a local scope, and it can only be accessed within, yeah. So that's our natural understanding. Yeah. So we don't need to say anything. Natural understanding. Yeah. All right. So that's the B.2. Yeah.